This is Abrahm with BSA Bushcraft, back with another video. What I want to discuss in this video is how to utilize one of the 10Cs, which is cargo tape. This is Gorilla brand cargo tape. It's a lot stronger, and for what I'm going to use it for, it seems to work a lot better. So I would definitely recommend to get the Gorilla tape, the Gorilla brand of cargo tape. But I'm going to show you guys how to take this resource, which has tons and tons of uses, and make a tinder bundle to ignite with a ferro rod and create a fire. So stick with me and we'll get started. Into depth on how to process this Gorilla tape down to make a tinder bundle to ignite with a ferro rod, I want to discuss with you guys a few things and how it works. If you don't take the time, because preparation is key like anything in survival, especially with fire, if you don't take the time to process this Gorilla tape down properly and try to rush through it because you're in a hurry, it's going to kill you. You're just not going to be able to do it, and you're going to have to redo that whole tinder bundle, and it's just worth the effort to take your time the first time and get it done. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm not going to say it's the proper way, but it's the way that I found that works best for me, because I've seen a lot of people struggle with it. And if you don't process this stuff down right, it's just going to kill you in the long run. So this is what works for me. I'm not saying it's the correct way or the proper way. I'm saying it's what works for me. So it may not work for you. I just wanted to throw it out there so you guys can see. I think it's a very unique skill, very cool, because you never know when you're going to have Gorilla tape and need a fire. So I want to discuss a little bit on how this works. The way I've got actually a fiber there sticking up on, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yep, right there. What you're going to do is basically pull them off and create real fine hairs to ignite with a ferro rod. Because your exposing surface area is key with fire, and that's what you're doing when you pull these fibers off. This Gorilla tape has adhesive on the bottom, and that's obviously to stick to things, and it's a very strong adhesive, and that burns very well. That's why I prefer the Gorilla tape brand, because it's got a real strong adhesive, and it's got this backing to it. And it's got webbing. It's pretty much in like a webbing configuration around it, and you're going to pull them strings real fine off of there to create a bundle. It is kind of hard to explain. I do apologize, guys, but what I'm going to do is take a piece that's about a foot long is what I would do. A foot long or so. It doesn't need to be much longer at all. So I'm just going to take a piece, rip it off, and I'm going to need this roll still, okay? So make sure you set your roll aside and do not lose it. And what you're going to do, if you had a multi-tool or if you got nails, I don't have nails, I just like using my teeth because I can get real fine controlled fibers that way. But if you have a multi-tool, you can do it that way, or nails are really going to help. You can do it with your fingers, whatever works. But the key is, you don't want to get these strips that you're pulling off of here any thicker than 1/4 of an inch, and you really don't even want 1/4 of an inch. If you can get thinner than that, thinner the better, because the thinner it is, the easier it'll take a spark. So I'm basically just gonna go up to this edge here, and I'll show you guys right there. As I'm pulling it apart, you can see them hairs exposed. So it's got them hairs running this direction, and it's got them running this direction. Right now I'm pulling the fiber off, just like that, really thin. You want them as thin as that if you can get them. You don't want them thick at all, so just keep pulling them off like that. And the key is, I'm going to lay them on this stump. Do not compress this. When you lay it down there, do not compress this bundle together. It's got the adhesive, so it's going to want to compress, but don't push it together. You want a lot of airflow in there. Just keep pulling, because if you compress it, that's just going to kill you. You don't want this compressed at all. So just keep doing that. And you see I'm just laying them there. I'm not compressing them. I can't emphasize that enough. Do not compress it. Right there is probably about 1/4 of an inch. You don't want them no thicker than that. Do not get them thicker than that, or it will not light up as easy. I'm not saying it won't light up, but it won't light up near as easy as if you had them thin. Sometimes it can be a trick, but that's part of it. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to process this down until I've used this whole strip up and I can get these as fine as I can possibly get them and leave them in a nice loose pile. Process down your foot piece of Gorilla Tape. There's one more step and it's very crucial, and this is a step before you ignite with the ferro rod, and there's one more step within that technique of your ferro rod. So I'm going to set this aside, don't compress it up. And what's important with this is, for some reason, when you peel that tape off, you seem to get the finest fibers when you start on these ends. So the first two pulls you get, or the first pull you get on the tape when you pull it off, is always the finest, and the same on this other side. I'm not sure why, I don't know if it's the way it's made, but it always seems to work that way. So what you want to do is do not peel a piece off, keep it on the rule, and pull it up a little bit, and just get that real fine piece. And it will destroy your rule a little bit because you're going to wrap it all the way around, but I'm okay to sacrifice that, especially if I'm becoming hypothermic and I need a fire. So just peel it up a little bit and get a really, really thin piece, because this is going to go directly in the middle of your Tinder bundle made out of Gorilla Tape, and it's going to accept the spark. You have to be really easy with this. And you should be able to pull it all the way around without stopping until it pulls off. And I mean, this is thread thin. And that is really thin. So I'm going to do another piece, maybe just a tad thicker so it'll last a little longer on the roll. And once it's like that, excuse me, you literally should be able to pull that thing all the way around until you've reached a designated size on it and you feel like you have enough to accept the spark from your ferro rod. So I'm not going to do too much of this. I mean, right there is a really thin piece, and this is, because if you have your foot piece, you're only going to get, obviously, a foot long thread-like piece, because you've got two of those ends, so you're going to get two real thin ones, and the rest may be a little tedious. So there we go, and it may take that little edge off the roll, but that's alright for me. And right there is super thin, real thin, and that's going to go in the middle of it. Don't compress it, just gather it up a little bit, and get that bundle, your Tinder bundle of Gorilla Tape, ready to light. What I ended up with, once you process that foot long piece of Gorilla Tape down, you're going to end up with a ball about that size, and it's just going to vary the size of it depending on how long you chose your piece of Gorilla Tape. You don't want them no thicker than what I have in there. You want them just like that, and do not compress it up. Step in this process is to obviously light this up. There's a lot of gaps in there, which is what you want. I did not compress it up, and I put the finest thread-like hairs in the middle. That's what you want. And your ferro rod technique is just as important, if not more important, than the processing of this material, and I will show you guys why. So once you get your knife out, your ferro rod, you don't want to just throw them like this, because you're not going to light this. Ferro rod technique with this material has to be dead on perfect. So what I'm going to do is, like I always do, I'm going to put my knee up there and brace that knife on my knee, and I'm going to pull the rod back so I'm not knocking that material everywhere. And it's got that adhesive on the tape, so the adhesive is sticking up, and I'm going to scrape some of the material off my ferro rod on there, and naturally it's going to stick to that adhesive. So that's a very good advantage to this. I don't see a lot of people doing this. So scrape some, try not to throw sparks. So just scrape some ferro rod material off and let it stick to the adhesive. You should have a really nice squared off 90-degree spine here to do this. This is very crucial, guys. A lot of people don't take this step, and I think it's a very important step. Alright, now I'm going to brace this and try to go for it. Alright, now slowly you can turn it over and let it eat. It took a couple times, but don't get discouraged because this is a very, very tedious process to do. And this thing, it's not very environmental friendly because it's molten plastic burning, but if you need a fire going, this thing's going to burn for probably 10-15 minutes, that little small bundle of this Gorilla Tape. This would be a really cool video for you guys to see. Starting a fire with Gorilla Tape. And I know a lot of people are going to ask me, can you use generic duct tape or like the off-brand you can get at the dollar store or whatever? I'm not sure. I've never tried it with a ferro rod. I know you can probably get it with a lighter for sure because I think it's the adhesive that which burns very well in it. And it's still burning right now, and it's been a good 5 minutes. And it's still got a nice hot flame to it. You could add more tape to it once you got that open flame. But back to the question, I'm not sure if you can or not. So anybody asking that question, maybe you could research what's in this tape and find out, or just go buy some cheap stuff and try it that way. I'm not sure it's going to peel off as good because it's probably not as good of a quality tape, but you can probably still get it to work if you have to in a pinch. So again, just starting a fire with a Tinder bundle, processing this Gorilla Tape down with a ferro rod, ferrocerium rod, and a knife. Very simple to do, very easy. I just thought I would think outside of the box. I've seen this quite a bit. This is not my idea. This is not my idea of this, so don't think I'm the inventor of it, because I'm not. I just wanted to share this skill. There's probably quite a few videos on YouTube on it, but I thought it would be a cool skill to teach, or teach my viewers. So thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate all your likes, comments, and support, shares, and everything you do for my channel. I really do appreciate it. Do me a favor and go like my page on Facebook, BSA Bushcraft. If you have any questions, you can comment below or email me at bsabushcraft@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys. If you like this video, check out my other one, subscribe to my channel, and I will be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys. Take care.